Start, madam.
Sir, just give me 1 second. Yes, sir, please start. Good morning and welcome all. Today our esteemed guest is Dr. Elsel Verma. Sir is professor and head department of floriculture and landscaping architecture. This is here a great immerse to welcome sir. And sir, thank you so much for joining us. Sir, you are audible, visible. Your presentation is well visible. Please continue.
Okay. Thank you, madam, and welcome and good morning to every participant of this summer school. Uh, Today's my assigned topic is orchid production technology under standard condition, and the topic is divided into introduction, cultivation practices, harvesting and yield, and conclusion. As we know, orchid is the most beautiful flower, and it is the leading in the industry all over the world during last few decades, and one of the this orchid is the one of the largest family among flowering plant. It is valued as cut flower as well as potted plant, and in the floriculture industry is leading by this flower, and the industry is now growing at the rate of 10 to 20%. And the record of history told that it is older than 500 years, and it seems that orchid is started in China, and that's why it is the native of China also. And the Chinese name for orchid is Lane. They known as Lane, meaning like meeting to God's friend. And it is reported by Confucius in 551 to 479 BC. Around 300 BC, Theocritus also studies in inquiry into plant, and he coined this term orchis. From that, orchid is now known, and describe some of the terrestrial species of orchid. And as we know, orchid is a very useful explain for garden. I ask and cut flower, but it is grown for beds, pot, basket, and split hollow bamboo is also utilized. And crevices of tree is also very good place for the growth of orchid. It is suitable for interior decoration. Species so many species are used as medicinal value, and some of the parts is also utilized for the treatment of the different alignments. And generally, orchid tuber is used for aphrodisiac, and leaves of Venda Roxburghi is used for rheumatism. And vanillin planifolia is very good flavoring agent, and that is very commonly used by all of us as a vanilla ice cream in ice cream industry. This flavor is very popular, and most of our kids and we also prefer the vanilla ice cream. Then dendrobium and nobilo 9, two areolas that is extracted from the dendrobium orchid, that is also useful for medicinal purpose. And 9 is coming from Liparis by Kalcha, is also utilized for medicinal purpose. In the phylloxine from the phylloxis salt orchid is also uh, used in medicine industry. Beside that, pseudobulbs of Cyprium and uh, growers and native peoples of the different part of the world. And as orchid is grown is worldwide, and particularly in India, it is grown in central part, Eastern Ghat, Western Ghat, and our Himalayan hill, uh, Eastern Himalayan, Western Himalayan hills, and mostly it is adjoining part of the China. So it is also a home for orchid, and so many orchid society of world is working all over the world. Uh, Out of them listed here, the Royal Horticulture Society. This society is working for so many other flower crops, but it also deal with orchids growing and popularizing orchid. American Orchid Society, Orchid Society of Southeast Asia, that is working in Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Hawaiian Orchid Society, Dutch Orchidian Society for German Orchid Society, And so many societies around the world is working for the promotion of orchid. That's why, because it's a very beautiful and excellent flower, and everywhere the lovers of orchid is there, and they are propagating and promoting the orchids cultivation as well as their uh, growth of industry. And distribution of orchid is generally it is distributed in almost every type of orchid in every growing zone. There are orchids survive. They are also distributed in different zones because of their climate requirement. And tropical zones generally Aridis species and Bulbiphyllum, Escocentrum species is going on, Calanthes species, Dendrobium species is very popular in tropical zone. But subtropical zone, Bulbiphyllum, Cymbidium, and Dendrobium is very common. And temperate and subtemperate zone, Arids and Arachnis species, Bulbiphyllum, and Cymbidium species, Venda species are very commonly grown and very easily grown. But more or less, this all species is grown in other parts, other zone also, with some care, some shade or some humidity arrangement. And in India, orchid is distributed in almost all over India, as I asked earlier, and around 200 species is found in northwestern Himalayan region. Similarly, around 800 species in northeastern Himalayan region, in our Assam and Seven Sisters region, and around 200 species in Western Ghat, and in central and other parts and southern parts, around 100 species grown in India. In almost around 1,300 species is native to India. And this is the hot spot of orchid in India, terrestrial orchid in generally northern part, and northeastern part epiphytic orchid, and in southern India small flowered orchid is grown. These the types of orchid or classification of orchid based on the habits. Uh, Generally terrestrial orchid is grown in grounds, and under that Cymbidium, Arundina, Peristeria species is very common. And epiphytic, whenever we ask epiphytic means it is grown in trees and have aerial roots. And under that Dendrobium, Venda, and Phalaenopsis species is very common. And similarly, saprophytic orchid is also grown in live and dead and decaying organic matters, usually found in moss forest floor. And Listeria and Microstylis and Galeoia species is very common. Similarly, lithophytes are grown in moss shade rocks and crevices of stony wall in uh, hill or some terrains, stony area is there. In that area, Diplomeris and Geodorum species is common. And similarly, in subterranean or underground orchid is also reported in Australia, that is grown in underground portion, and it is very rare. And classification depending on the great growth pattern, we have seen two types under that category: monopodial and sympodial. Monopodial means mono means single branching, non-branching, and sympodial means branching. And the monopodial have vertical growth habit, but in sympodial, its growth is horizontal, and so many rhizomes and pseudobulbs is there, and that's why they are easily propagated. Very fast propagation is there. And this is some species of orchid: Bulbophyllum, Dendrobium, Arids, and Rhinocostalis, Arachnis, Renanthera. If you see this type of the flower, means you will easily classify it. And Dendrobium is very commonly grown in almost India, and this is a very common and very popular in cut flower industry. Cut flower is very boom due to that Dendrobium species. And in our India, central part of India, so many growers are growing this Dendrobium orchid in acres of land, acres of shed net or polyhouse condition. Even in Chhattisgarh and some central India portion, it is very common and very popularly grown by the farmer and fetching very good price. Means in 1 acre means fetching around 30-40 lakhs, at least for 30 to 40 lakhs by the farmer. And based on the classification, based on the temperature, accordingly we classified orchid as a cool orchid. That orchid requires day temperature 15.5 to 21 and night temperature 10 to 12.5 degrees centigrade here. And Cymbidium, Paphiopedilum, Mitonia, Odonto, Blossom. This is the cool orchid that is in upper Himalayan region that is very commonly grown, and Cymbidium is very popular in Sikkim, and Paphiopedilum is also grown there besides Dendrobium species. And intermediate orchid, the requirement is 15 to 25 degrees centigrade, and night temperature is 15 to 18 degrees centigrade. Somewhat more temperature range for intermediate orchid than cool orchid. And third one is the warm orchid. The day requirement, day temperature is 21 to 28, and night is 18 to 21 degrees centigrade. Erids, Arachnis, Aranthera, Aranda, Catalia, Dendrobium, Mocara, Venda, etc. are the grown very commonly in warm orchid. It is very common in our tropical Indian conditions, South India, Central India, Hyderabad, Raipur, and Bhubaneswar or Nagpur region, Rajnandgaon, Chhattisgarh. This orchid is very commonly grown as a warm orchid. This is the growing condition, generally grown under shed net condition with screen, black screen or green screen, or some area in hilly area, white screen is also followed. And if you see the foggers attachment for misting or maintaining humidity, because it requires higher humidity due to aerial roots. Aerial roots into the feeding roots of orchid, and you see the beds. That bed is around 60 to 70 centimeter in height. In benches, that benches have, you see the coconut coir and so many porous material like charcoal, coco peat, and wood pieces, in even brick pieces are very commonly used for the orchid because of to maintain porosity and circulation of air and moisture to the root zone. This is the optimum range of temperature, humidity, and light requirement for important orchid species. As I asked earlier, almost 40 to 80, 70% relative humidity, and around 12 to 28 degree temperature is common. And light requirement is at around 2,400 to 3,600 foot candle. And this is the basic requirement for commercial orchid cultivation. If you see the screen position, if we face heavy evening sun, then we place the slight slanting shade net or screen to avoid the scorching sun. And this also standardized shade requirement for growth and yield of Dendrobium by Armungam and Jawahar at Coimbatore. And 75% shade is the better for the, if we use 75% shade material, shade net type, that protects 75% of our sun rays. In that condition, we found very good plant height, shoots, as well as early flowering, more number of spikes, length of more lengthy spike, and as well as longest spike or longevity of the spike is also greater, around 92 days. The age of the spikes under more shade net, around 75 to 85% shading material if we used. The benches also required, as I saw earlier in the picture. You see the ground level is around 62 centimeter and around 1.5 to 1.5 inch thickness our benches is there, and uh, the supporting system is very good, so that it bears so many years with that material. This is the pictures for benches and support system. And as I asked earlier, porous material is very good for orchid growing. Besides, other crops require soil or cocoa or uh, porous material, but this requires good aeration, well drained, and material is having very good humus content, and also whatever material we use that have uh, contain very good quality of moisture inside, and moisture supplied to root system also important, and slightly acidic nature is good of all this material, and epiphytic orchid also uh, prefer well in fibrous material, and terrestrial somewhat more uh, clay material than the terrestrial orchid. And the effect of growing media on growth and yield orchid is also studied at Coimbatore, and coconut fiber. With coconut fiber, so many uh, things are used: rice husk, brick pieces, tile bite, gravel pieces. But with coconut fiber, the growth, plant height, pedicle length, and number of florets and waste life is better. Uh, uh, Reported by Armungam and Jawaharlal from Coimbatore. And potting media also, so brick pieces, square dust is also best for orchid, Venda orchid, particularly for Venda orchid. And effect of growing media on growth and flowering also suggested different type of media we utilize. Then gravel and groundnut cell and cow dung combination is better, and that produce more number of florets per spike, and spike length is also greater as compared to other combination of growing media. And propagation generally, commercially orchid cultivation is in tissue culture method, and generally it is propagated by sexually or asexually or conventional method like division, kikis or bag bulbs. If you see kikis in picture, kikis in the upper portion, you see the branch portion, so the rooting is there. That portion is divided and utilizes a new plant. And generally, propagation of monopodial and sympodial orchid is different, but almost stem division, stalk cutting, or bag bulbs are used. Air layering also utilized for Venda. And micropropagation is very common, and micropropagation through seeds and shoot tip, meristem tip, or leaf segment is practiced by growers, commercial growers, and uh, uh, it is very common, but it takes some times. It takes around 1.5 years to come up for new planting. Means propagation speed is slightly slower than banana and other crops by the tissue culture method. But workers are trying to fasten this process. This is a different media composition for in vitro propagation of orchid. Uh, it is the hardening media, that is after rooting in orchid under in vitro propagation. Uh, Hardening is also important. Sometimes very good roots under tissue culture is fail due to poor hardening material, and for hardening in primary hardening, generally coco pit plus coconut husk is very good. Under that, very good survival percent, around 96% survival is seen. And cocoa pit and coconut husk uh, is also better. 2 piece, 3 piece is used according for the uh, hardening purpose, and the both combination is almost good for uh, hardening of orchid under polyhouse. And this is the different species as well varieties species, and there are varieties of monopodial and sympodial orchids. Is the few different orchids, spider or venda. Venda is very common in forest area over trees in tropical and subtropical forest, generally in mahua tree or banana tree, and mango trees or some perennial trees we can easily see. But Phalaenopsis and Cymbidium and Dendrobium is very uh, easily cultivable in eastern and western Himalayan region, as well as in central India. This is the performance of different Dendrobium hybrids uh, under Andhra condition. New generally Sonia 17, Ima White, Blue Magic, Flame, New any varieties is commercially cultivated Dendrobium species in central and eastern India. And under that, the Flame variety is performing very well under Andhra condition, and that produce around 3.6 spike per plant. And waste life is also very good. Floral pedicle length is also very good in that variety, and the spike length is around 57.96. That is very good for cut flower purpose or marketing of cut flower. This length is very good. Is found in Flame variety of Dendrobium species of orchid. That is commonly grown orchid. And nutrition, orchid nutrition is very important because if we go for higher yield, then we have to provide very good nutrition as well as very good watering. And this is depend on the what type of orchid we are using, what are the potting media, what is the season, growing condition, stage of plant development. Generally, foliar feeding is ideal due to epiphytic nature and taken nutrients by aerial roots, and the complex fertilizer 17-17-70 or 20-20-20 is ideal. Generally 0.2 to 1% is sprayed in orchid plant. Ammonium nitrate, orthophosphoric acid, potassium nitrate, and all this is used in different stage. But the application is depend upon the condition of the plant. Whenever we see any type of deficiency, then we apply it. But 15 days interval is the best if you go for 0.2% application or 0.1% application by foliar application or spray purpose. This is the effect of nutrients on variety growth, multiplication, and pseudobud yield, and different character spikes and flower character of medium hybrids. And uh, in that around 15 raised to 5 raised to 5 fertilizer concentration used at 0.3% is the best for application in Cymbidium market. As I ask, water is also important because it always in moist condition. The growing zone is in moist condition, and our substrate is also porous. So we have to apply water in through upper portion by using sprinkler or jets or spraying with sprayer, and it was not having any harmful chemical that will affect the leaf or any material that is not in water. Sometimes calcium or more iron rich water. Then when this water is utilized, then it was effect on our nutrient uptake as well as the effect on leaf over leaf that have some mark on leaf due to that excess of nutrient. And all it all depend on the age of crop and subtract whatever water requirement is. And 5 to 12 liter of water per square meter is the sufficient for per square meter of area. This is the important disease and pest of orchid. Generally, leaf spot is a fungal problem, Gliosporium polytrichum, and whenever you see sunken spot on leaves, then it is leaf spot, and that is controlled by the any of fungicide, either dithane M45, dithane Z78, or bevistine. That all this is sprayed in 0.1 or 0.2% solution, then it will control. Similarly, Ethium species is also seen as a black rot. Pseudobulbs start to rot in that condition, and drenching of copper oxychloride 3% is very good for disease control of black rot disease control of orchid. Similarly, sometimes flower blight due to botrytis cinerea is seen, and entire flower is covered due to that spores and blighting effect is in flower, and dithane 45 is sprayed around 2%. Bacterial soft rot, Irvinia curutovora is also seen due to Irvinia curutovora, and in that water soaked dark green spot in leaves are seen, and for that we can control by streptocycline spray 0.0%, 0.4%. Mite is very tiny, small insect, microscopic insect that suck juices from the cell of leaves, and Ethion is very good for control of the mites. Scale is also seen in orchid, and metacystoc or metaseed 2 ml per liter or metaseed is sprayed to control the scales. Similarly, aphid gossypi is also seen. Aphid to control aphid, malathion 2 ml per liter is good. And mealybug is also white spots, whites, cottony appearance, some spongy appearance in plants is seen. Then we control metacystoc or NaCl water, or minimally we can clean all these, and after that metacystic 2 ml is applied to control the control of mealybug. This is the some damage of insects, leafy spot, then scales, mites. There are crores of mites is there. They are the colonies of mites. Then harvesting and the yield. Generally, dendrobium is harvested when 2 or 3 bud is opened. Initially, lower portion started from lower portion. 2 or 3 three flower is opened or bud is open. Then we plug the dendrobium around 50 to 60 centimeter stick is there. And the catalia is 3 to 5 days after the bud is split. Similarly, cymbidium is harvested when they are full grown, almost every flower, or upper 1 or 2 flower bud is not open, then we will harvest it cymbidium. And in sednet condition, at least weekly twice harvesting is practiced, or if a flower population is come, then we go for weekly or fortnightly harvesting of orchids. Generally, yield of dendrobium is 6 to 7 spikes per plant per year, and oncidium is also 5 to 6 stem per plant, producing 30 to 34 floristry per stick have 30 to 50 flower, and this oncidium is very good fragrance in oncidium. When vanda also four sticks spikes per plant, and every spike have 10 to 15 flower. And similarly in cymbidium, around uh, 2,500 spike 4 year onward, reaching up to 7,500 spikes per 500 square meter area. In uh, in case, because cymbidium start after third year, and gradually the yield is uh, progressing, starting from 200 500 spikes to around 7,500 spikes in per square 500 square meter area in sixth year. And packaging is very important because it is very perishable of nature, and it damages due to corrosion. So after harvesting, stem are kept in bucket containing water and stored under temperature of less than 10 degrees centigrade. And waste life of varies around 5 days to 6 weeks. Almost maximum uh, waste life is seen in orchid. 6 weeks means 1.5 month. If you place in waste solution, then we leave for 1.5 month. And after 1.5 month, this flower is destroyed. The flower are packed in single-use boxes, then have dimension is 100 into 15 into 11 centimeter, depending upon the number of flower per stem, and 25 to 30 stem per box per packing. 20 to 5 box stem is packed in per box. This is the bunching of orchid, dendrobium orchid, and before placing in boxes, spikes are kept in vials. We can use that tiny vials that is generally kept medicine. We are kept homeopathic medicine that is utilized for placing spikes, and that is by under that some sucrose solution or protein solution, hydroquinone citrate is placed in that vial. And this is the effect of pulsing and holding solution on waste life of Dendrobium variety Sonia 17, very common variety of Dendrobium orchid. And AgNU3 25 ppm and hydroxyquinone 400 ppm plus sucrase 5% is the producing very good waste life of 27 days. And first flower fading is started after 15 days, and last flower fading is around 46 days, and water uptake is around 7.5 ml by uh, single stick. This is the effect of packing treatment of flower quality parameter of Dendrobium hybrid Sonia 17, and the packing different packing material like daily newspaper, low gauge polyfilm of 100 gauge thickness, and the brown paper used for wrapping our children's notebook, cellophane paper used in packing of cold storage goods, butter paper used in packing of bakery and confectionery item, and corrugated thin sheet. But brown paper used for wrapping notebook is the best one, and under that color fading is uh, uh, and low gauge polyfilm of 100 gauge are the best for wrapping material. And this is the cost and return of orchid flower grown in 100 meter square set net condition. First year, around 98,000 cost is required, and estimated cost is around 98,000 required, but there is no flowering or very less flowering. But second year onward, we can get around 17,000 spike that will progressively yield around 51,000 spike. From that, First year we can get around 1 lakhs, and subsequently the spike yield is increases, and we can fetch more returns from the 1000 square meter. From first year nil yield to we can get around 6 lakh return from 5 year, fifth year. It is the economics for 1000 square meter area of orchid. This is all about orchid cultivation. Thank you very much for hearing. As demand of orchid in floriculture market are increasing at very fast rate. So it is very good area of agriculture that beginners will start growing orchid, but lack of knowledge and unavailability of technology for its production is a factor, and the quality of flower and planting material of orchid are fetching higher price in international market. So we also utilize quality planting material. We can take commercial variety for growing orchid, and simultaneously we also know the cultural practices of orchid, like set requirement, growing media, suitable cultivars, nutrition, plant growth regulators, and post-harvest management and plant protection measure for successful growing of the orchid. And all about this from today's session. Thank you everyone for patiently listening.
Thank you, sir. Participants, any questions, please ask.